experiments 9 and 10. 10 is a bit different than 9. We'll talk about why they're different in a couple of minutes. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can talk about what's going on. Now, experiment 9. We want to study the effect of a few factors on the rate of a reaction. So we're going to be looking specifically at concentration, temperature, and surface area of a solid. So our summary, we're looking at the objective is on page 53 in the lab manual. The balanced reaction is on page 53. There is an Excel file. That's the next thing that's in the summary. You need to calculate the mass of the strip of metal, the entire thing. Take the total mass and divide it by the total length to get a mass per unit. Multiply that by the length in each sample, which should be about 5 centimeters. Maybe mistaken. Whatever length you're asked to get for each one, you're going to take the mass per unit length and use that to calculate mass. The rate for 3.0 molar HCl trial. So we're going to look at change in mass versus time. And look at your graphs. Are they direct, indirect, exponential, or no relation? So are they direct? Do they both go up at, as the y-axis gets bigger, the x-axis gets bigger. Indirect, if you increase one of them, so if my y-axis gets bigger, my x goes down. Exponential, as x increases, y goes up by a factor, for instance, squared, kind of thing. Where there's no relationship. There's nothing that you can see that is that kind of thing. Kind of all over the place. And of the factors studied, so of the things that we looked at, what had the greatest effect? And how does that relate to our theory of how reactions work? So tie that back to the kinetic molecular theory of gases. Okay? Try and see how the data that you collected ties into that. All right, so that's our summary for experiment. Then we have our post-lab. We want to talk about what's your learning reagent and how did you know that the reaction was done? We want to define the rate of the reaction, so change in concentration over change in time. Define a catalyst. Explain how it changes the rate. And is it a reactant? Explain why temperature, concentration, surface area, catalyst, or pressure of a gaseous reactant might increase the likelihood that two molecules will hit each other with sufficient energy and the correct orientation to create a product. So remember, in order for us to get a reaction, they have to hit, they have to have the right energy, and they have to have the right orientation. So how will these factors help to improve our chances of getting those things all at the same time? And what are two of the factors that I just listed? So what are things that are required for this reaction to happen? And I listed a couple of things. So did they hit? Did they hit with sufficient energy? And did they hit with the correct orientation? So those are the things that we're talking about. And that's experiment 9. Now, experiment 9 is the last one that you're going to be doing a summary pre-lab, post-lab type thing for. And it's the last one that's expected to be in your lab notebook. When we get to experiment 10, there's a video that you need to watch that's included. And then there's going to be an Excel spreadsheet, which you actually need to do nothing with except turn it back in. There's a virtual lab on Alex to talk about this. And this is used to determine the orders of reaction. Okay. You want to pay attention to the calculations that are done in Alex because those calculations may appear on your lab final. There is no paperwork that goes with this. And actually, you don't need to turn in the Excel spreadsheet because it says. But there is one and you should look at it. It will help you walk through those concentration or the calculations that are required for this. So there's no paperwork for this lab. You just need to do the Alex part. Co-option. Questions, comments, problems, concerns, anything like that? Again, I hope not. But that takes us through our last part. We've now talked about both of those experiments. You'll get detailed discussions of both experiments. Get a lab lecture for each of those. And I think that's everything. So I will get this posted and I will get back to you soon. Thanks, guys.